North. Who picked first in the NFC North? I think
The
that is the order.
Lions,
The Lions did. Okay,
number
okay, okay.
7. Yeah, and I think just going straight into it, the NFC North, I would say, honestly, out of all the divisions, I think as a division, I think they had the best draft. Even like
Yeah, no, I agree.
people are crapping on the Packers, but
Hmm.
personally, I didn't dislike their drafts. I think we could argue maybe that there were better players that were available that the Packers picked, and we'll get to that eventually. But if we're talking about overall needs wise, I think they did fill a lot of needs, and people were upset that they didn't take a receiver with the first pick. But the first overall pick, I don't dislike. So,
Hmm.
but starting off with the Lions, with arguably um, probably the second. You can make an argument the second best player overall in this draft,
Hmm.
Penei Sewell, with them with their first pick. Uh, I mean that right there to me already gives them a B to B plus. Like they could have absolutely just shit the bed for the rest of the draft, which they didn't, in my opinion. But having Penei Sewell, whether they end up having him at the left tackle or the left guard spot, having that position there over the next 10, 15 years is going to be an absolute like staple for that offense. People when they drafted Calvin Johnson, that was an amazing thing for their offense, and he was there for a long time. Sorry, we've got a visitor
Hmm.
that is not supposed to be in here. Um, but having Penei Sewell though could arguably even be a more critical pick, in my opinion, and because of what this will do for not only just solidifying the offensive line, but solidifying that offense. And as we've mentioned, like throughout this whole kind of podcast series, if you have a solid offensive line, the entire offense will fall into place after that. Well, it has
Hmm.
a better chance of falling into place. I know that Jared Goff is their QB now. Maybe he's the QB of the future, maybe he's not. But whatever the QB is of the future, adding Panay Sewell is only going to solidify more protection for them and more time to help them succeed. Their running game is going to help whatever running back they decide to move forward. They did end up drafting a running back as their last pick 257 in the 7th round.
Hmm.
Running back Jameer Jefferson from Oregon State. Personally, I don't know much of
Yeah,
anything
at
about
that
him.
point you're drafting for traits.
Yeah, you're drafted for
But
traits and potential scheme fits. And if he can come in there and Panay Sewell, we've seen a lot of undrafted or late round drafted skill players come in and be very successful. And having
hmm.
Panay Sewell blocking on that left side, I think is only going to be a great pick. I've only talked about Panay Sewell this whole time. But Amon Ross St. Brown with the 4th pick overall, their second pick, Levi, I'm going to mess it up.
On Wuzarike.
On Wuzarek. That was really good. Uh, I think it was a great pick. And then they also doubled up on another defensive tackle with Aleem
Hmm.
McNeil with their 3rd pick overall. Solid. I mean, really focusing on the interior, starting like solidifying the interior on both the offensive and
Yeah,
defensive side of the ball.
and I think that definitely they may not have gotten like the sexiest draft by any means, but I
No.
think they did a really good job of just defining who they want to be. And I
Yeah.
think they just want to be a big physical team. I mean, I think they look. I looked at their offensive line. I think they now have 4 first-round picks on that offensive front.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift is in the backfield. He had a somewhat lackluster rookie year. I know he dropped a game-winning touchdown pass. I think on Thanksgiving Day, actually. But
Yeah, he did. I remember
he
that. Yeah.
he uh, he now has an offensive line in front of him that is one of the best in the league. And that defensive front is going to be a lot better. Guys like Trey Flowers are going to have a lot easier time getting pressure on the quarterback because they're not going to be getting double teamed coming off the edges. So for me, I think they did really good. One of the picks I think that is underrated that you didn't mention is Afetu Melifonwu.
Hmm.
He is a big physical corner out of Syracuse. He has an older brother that used to play in the NFL, Obi Melifonwu. I mean, both of those guys are just freak athletes. I mean, absolutely just ridiculous on the numbers. And I think if they can just teach him how to uh, play as fast mentally as he can physically, I mean, he's a sure starter uh, if he can just develop that. So for me, I think the Detroit Lions had a really, really good draft. They filled in a lot of holes that they needed, and I yeah, So,
Yeah. hmm I
but
agree.
yeah,
Well, I mean, for me, if I were to grade it, it's like we said, it wasn't the sexiest of drafts, but I mean, those first five picks. I mean, even Amon-Ra St. Brown, like kind of an underrated receiver in my opinion, kind of coming into the draft and getting him all the way down in the fourth round.
hmm
I mean, those first five picks, I could honestly see all five of them starting uh, on week one. So,
yeah. I mean, especially
so
on a young, inexperienced Lions team, it's
yeah. Well, and
not
they're
unheard of.
going in, and I feel like we've been saying this for a long time with the Lions, but they're going in with no expectations, a new coach, a new team. Like they just give them experience and have them develop. And I think they picked a lot of good guys for the right job, especially in that division with the Packers. I'm predicting only have a couple more years of success, depending on how long Aaron Rodgers stays around.
Yeah, no, definitely. But so overall, I'm gonna give them a B plus to A minus.
Okay.
Kind of. I think they did really well. I'm not really sure how they could have improved based on their draft position.
Yeah.
Uh, but also, again, they didn't really get besides Panay Sewell, nothing really like is like that crazy. Like they didn't get Jeremiah Usu-Cormo at pick 52.
Well, but I feel like the guys that they did get were just great value picks
Yeah,
for that position. You know what I mean? Like I said,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brown getting him in the fourth round. I mean, a lot of people were projecting him to go in middle second, early third.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All the
And
draft
they,
stock.
I think they had the second best draft in this division.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't think they really could have done much better. I think all those draft room shenanigans after Panay Sewell fell to 7 were completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Necessary.
hmm
So,
hmm
but
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't think they could have gotten any luckier with that one. And then, yeah, and then they made just good selections overall throughout the rest of the draft.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I agree.